Hello, this is Dakota Caldwell, and I just want to hop on here to give a couple announcements for your better listening experience. Just a reminder, this is a pre-recorded podcast, so it's pre-recorded beforehand and then released on the day of every first of the month. We also have a Facebook page. Go visit our Facebook page at Dakota Show since 2017. We also have our merch out there now, thanks to Up in Stitches in Knoxville, Iowa. You can also get the link to that on our Facebook page too as well. And so today I bring you Mr. Monahan, known as Seth Monahan, to the Stone Lake High School principal, as we sit down and we talk about his journey at Stone Lake High School and everything he's accomplished there. Seth Monahan was a big role model for me and still is, and his family. For me when I was in high school. So, you heard me talk about my mentor many times, and finally I was like, I gotta fit him in the schedule. So I finally did, and he said, okay, so we are now have him on the show today. So that's kind of what's going down that way, and just kind of want to hop on here and catch up on my social media. Also, congrats to Mr. Kerry Coon from Kerry Coon Horsemanship. He is an engaged cowboy now, so congrats to him and his fiance now as well. So, very proud of you, man. Congrats once again. And can't wait to see what you have in store. If you want to know more about the youth clinic coming up with Kirikun, please check it out on our website. There is a link there that will take you to his website, or you can visit him at www.kirikun.com. Hello everyone, I'm Dakota Caldwell. I'm your host for the Dakota Show. Today on the Dakota Show, I have Seth Monahan, the high school principal. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Dakota. Always good to talk to you.
Always good to talk to you too. We've known each other for, I don't know, quite some time, it seems like.
It does feel that way. Actually, when I first came here to interview way back in the day, in like May or April, long before I started, you were one of the first people I actually met.
Well, I think I actually do remember that. Was I in like the home ec room or going to the home ec room? Yeah.
Yep, I believe so.
Yeah. So I mean, it is. We've made some good times, and I've learned a lot from you, and I know you say the same thing about me.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm gonna ask you some questions today. Um, hopefully you're not too nervous.
Nah, it's all good. Won't be the first time.
So how has your journey been with Stone Lake Community School District?
How has the journey been? I think it's been a pretty good one. But I kind of knew coming in. We did our homework and we paid attention, and this is a community we knew we would love and we wanted to be a part of. So honestly, we get here. The only, obviously, kicker or pain in the butt, if you will, is COVID, right? So you get part of this community and you just start getting connected and involved, and then COVID hits, and you can't do anything. So I would say the journey has been, it was going well, and it's still getting back there, but it's tough when COVID, puts a pause, if you will, in all the relationships and all the things you're getting involved in.
It also, you're already away from your family, kind of, if you have family in that area, and then, COVID too doesn't help because you're in one area and they're in another, and so that just makes it even harder, I feel.
Right. I mean, you're in the same boat. My parents or my family live about a half hour away, which is similar to your parents lived. And you're right. With COVID, it didn't matter how close you were; you really could still be around.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate. And, I mean, a, a lot of people might not know what to think when they get around people again, but
That's true.
yeah.
All the awkward pre conversations again, right?
Yeah. The, um, so that kind of stuff. My next question is, when you started in the school year of 2019-2020, people said Stone Lake School District had a bad reputation. Do you think that has been worked on?
Uh, yes. I mean, that's kind of. I mean, it's kind of. I wouldn't say yes and no. I definitely think it's a yes, but I think it's kind of a yes and no in the sense that I think that might have been the perception, but but the closer you got, the more people you got to understand. Obviously, that's not the perception around this general area. But you're right, in Des Moines, that's not the perception. We don't know much about Storm Lake. I think that's more of this general area is where those perceptions come from and certain things. But I've loved the community, and ever since then, I think we've done. My goal when I talk to the community. Part of the interview, there was a community, and all these different other
Oh yeah.
areas. One of their questions was, how are you going to help, help Storm Lake light, if you will, shine in the way it should in a more positive light because we are this positive, amazing community. But the perception on the outside is that we're not. And I basically had said, I think I'm just going to hopefully exploit what we do and what we do well. And then it's more than anything is getting our message out there because I don't think it doesn't exist. I don't think we're not an amazing community. I think the only issue is people outside never heard about us. They never hear our stories.
Yeah.
So I think social media, I know we put stuff on Facebook, but I think that helps get our story, and then having people like Dr. Cole and others in the district that are always pushing for equity and improving our situation as a school district and and as a community. I think that helps. So stuff like that, I truly do believe has improved the outside perception.
And I would agree with you. The other thing is Storm Lake High School has many great cultures, and to a culture to culture basis, something might be okay to one culture, but not the other. And so, but people don't understand that that's just part of their culture, so to speak.
You're right. And the worst thing about certain people, is that if they don't know someone or someone's culture, then they just sometimes don't naturally like it, which is just extremely horrible because you come to this community and you're right. There's so many cultures and I've been immersed in them all and I love them all. But that outside perception is sometimes you fear or you don't appreciate what you don't know. And that's the issue. Come here, spend some time, be part of the community, and your perception will quickly change.
Yes, it will. It won't be like any other community you go to. You won't get that sort of, you know, I feel like everyone gets along in Stone Lake, that you see in the big picture mostly. So,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
um, my next question for you is also when you first started, you talked about, um, the trust discipline, sort of speak thing. How is that going as far as that goes?
You mean kind of like the restorative practices type of thing?
Yeah, I think it was. I saw a newspaper do a article on that, so I was just wondering
Okay.
how that was going.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going well. Obviously, this year it's hard to tell. Last year, I think we were just starting to get into it. It's not something you can just dive into. It takes a good amount of time to properly get in and support it, and have students and teachers and parents feel comfortable with it. I think we were doing well, and we were on the way, and I think it was improving. Some smaller things such as the amount of referrals or behavior issues we were dealing with. But it was only a year. This year can't really count. The data is skewed because it's not the same, so it's hard to say. But I do think we were trending in the right direction, and I think going forward it'll continue to only get stronger.
It will, and because I think the other administration was on that same page as far as that goes, and so I think that will keep going no matter where you go and what you do in life.
You're right, and the good thing is, yeah, they follow the same philosophy at the elementary and middle school. So by the time the students get to us, it's just something they're comfortable with. Hopefully, they know how to process. So it will be beneficial. And you're right, regardless of where you go in this life, whoever you are and whatever you do, it's just a great skill to have.
Yes. My next question is, I also noticed when you and Mr. Mike Cameron took your roles at the school, students kind of started speaking out. Why do you think this is?
I hope that they felt more comfortable. And I think when you say speaking out, you mean like in a good way, not like really horrible, but
Yeah.
more self-advocating and speaking on their behalf or things that they wanted to see done or improved. And I hope that maybe that they just felt that maybe it was new administration, maybe it had nothing to do with me, or maybe it did have something to do with myself and Mr. Cameron, where they felt comfortable, they felt supported. We told them certain things. We told them we would support them. This is a student first, obviously, school. Without students, there's no school. But we also supported our staff. So I think students felt comfortable in saying, "Oh, I think these guys have actually said what they said they would do." You know what I mean? So they have supported us. They have, we're trying to improve the courtyard. We're trying to improve certain things that would give seniors, if you will, junior seniors, maybe upperclassmen, open campuses. So we were trying to make it something that they felt comfortable, asking for, and within reason. We were hoping to provide it, but at the same time, it had to make sense for staff and families as well.
Yes, and always that safety comes first, no matter what.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, that's the number one thing of a school is parents, and guardians. They send their families, their students, their loved ones to our school, thinking that and knowing that they should be safe. Whatever else, it's safe. Obviously, we want to get them an education. We're going to get them some PE, some art, some music, some, home acts, all these things, these exploratories. But more than anything, the one thing I want to hopefully instill on anyone in any community is that if you're sending your kid to school, they're going to be safe first and foremost.
And that is a good reputation to have as well.
Mm-hmm.
When we come back after this sponsorship break, I will have more with Seith Monahan, the high school principal. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Travis at Bram Shoe Fit in Storm Lake, Iowa. We invite you to come browse our huge selection of inventory ranging from kid shoes to lady shoes and men's shoes. We carry multiple brands, different casual dress shoes for both men's and ladies. We have boots for men's and ladies, winter boots for men's, ladies, and kids. We also have a huge selection of smart wool socks for both men's and ladies. Along with all our inventory, we do have 2 big sale racks for both men's, ladies, and kids with a variety of different inventory ranging from sandals to boots to athletic shoes. We also carry a bunch of athletic shoes with brands such as Hoka, Asics, New Balance, On, and Brooks.
Call Travis and his team at 712-732-3432. Visit his store at 618 Lake Avenue, Storm Lake, Iowa, 50588. Hello everybody, I'm back with Mr. Monahan, the high school principal, and we are gonna get into some more questions. I asked him while we were on break if he was ready. He was like, yeah, I guess so. No, just kidding. He's ready. My next question for you is, so you have impacted so many lives. With that being said, what is your response to that?
Oh man. Well, I mean, it's always nice to hear that. You don't think you do, and I guess I don't hang my hat on any of that. But I think it's probably the flip side of that as much. So I get to impact all these people, but that's one at a time. Whereas everyone I impact, that's a flip on me. If I'm having that big of an impact on you, I hope that means that we've developed enough of a relationship or respect where you've had the same impact on me. So I don't know. Maybe it's selfish. Maybe it's because mutually I get an impact, and I get a relationship, and I expand what I know, who I know, and it expands my horizons just as much. So maybe it's partly selfish, right? But that's what I got into education. First and foremost, coaching and education, simply because I enjoyed building relationships and lifting people up. So, in doing that, like I said, I get just as much out of it.
Yes, and anyone can lift anyone up, So with that being said, anyone can do it. It's just all the people willing to lift each and every child up equally.
You're right, and that's just it. Especially, more than anything, you have to truly have an interest in what they're asking or what they're saying, because if you do, it's reflected. Kids know everything, right? You can't fake it with you guys. You either know if someone's genuine or if they're not. And if you truly have a genuine interest in them, it goes a long way.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they say people with autism and people with disabilities can sense that a lot more. But I feel like anyone can, disability or not, people can sense that right away.
Yeah, I think so. It's easy for me to say, I guess.
Yeah, but I agree. But then again, we're kind of a lot alike in some ways. So,
That's right.
my next question for you today is there anything you would like to tell the students at Storm Lake?
Just that I really enjoy, I would say being their principal, leader, whatever you want to call it. I enjoy just being around them, working with them. Even last year you saw how I missed being in the classroom and those connections. So I was still tutoring kids in math and doing whatever I could. This year I have a card group I play with some seventh graders who are in the building and they play cards. But more than anything, I just want the students to know that I genuinely enjoy it here. I love the students here. This is the place I came to see, kids like this. And like you had said, I think it's the vast amount of cultures we have that just make this place so rich. So more than anything, I want to thank them for having this impact on me.
My next question is, I know another thing you were really good at is checking up on the students, especially with special needs. Anything you want to say following this?
Yeah, I think if people aren't enjoying all the classrooms and all the opportunities we have in our school as an administrator, then I think they're missing out, because having worked in the special ed field, I love my opportunities down there to interact with the students and who's Miss Besh now. This year it used to be Miss Christensen, and then Miss Betts. I enjoy working with those students and those teachers because I think it's rewarding, right? And they truly get excited and care and have these inspirational moments.
Yeah.
And as an educator, how can you not want to be part of that?
Yeah, and especially when those ahas work, that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
Not to just see it on their face, but to see it on the student's face.
Yeah, and I would say here's an admin hack or tip, or even for teachers. I used to do this, all the time, even when I wasn't a teacher, but I wasn't in the admin role. Anytime I had free time or anytime I was having a bad day, I would go to rooms such as like choir room, band room, the special ed level 2, 3 rooms where I truly enjoyed the atmosphere and the time in there, and it was a time for me to relax and de-stress. So that's a little tip, if you will, for anyone who's stressful in an admin. Go find these rooms, immerse yourselves in these rooms, and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, 'cause you never know when that person in that room is having a bad day, and you could just light them up too.
That's right, and hopefully you do.
Yeah. My next question is, what about your teachers and staff? Any advice or thank yous here in you kind of already gave him a little advice here.
No, I don't know that I have a whole lot of advice for him. My thing is, I would say continue to do what you're doing. The staff here is, relentless in what it takes to make this thing work, regardless of if it's a normal year or COVID year. They're invested in the students and the success of the students, and that's easy to say and that's cliche to say, but generally, I've been around a couple schools, and this one, for sure, they buy in and they do what they have to do. So I would thank them for doing that. And I guess when I started here, my one thing was, just hopefully you guys have trust that whatever you do in the classroom, trust that I'll support you, and I want to see you go outside your comfort zone. Step outside the box. Make this experience amazing for the students. Trust that I will support you. And I think that they've believed that and they've done that. And if they have, I want to thank them for that. And I would encourage them to continue to trust their leadership, their admin, and just do the things that are going to make the experiences rich and meaningful for our students.
Yes, because they are going to learn too along with that when they do that.
Yes, sir.
My next question is, what about parents? Anything or any advice here?
Just keep communicating. One of my hopes was that we could improve communication. I know that we have, but I definitely don't think it's where it needs to be. That's one thing I'm still working on, and will always work on. You never get where you want to be, but I think we've included some social media. We've done a lot of short little video, 60 to 90-second video clips to explain things, to give information to students and parents. Because we've learned through this process that it seems like sometimes reading an email, you get some views, but if you do it in a short little video, it's easy for parents to relate to that, or they can quickly watch it real quick. So we think we've had better success. So while we're trying to communicate better, I would encourage the parents in the community to reach out and continue to let us know, how can we further improve our communication with you? What things can we do to improve not just the process for your students, but for you guys as parents? How can we keep you in the know? What things you want to know and need to see available that we don't presently have? So, this is your school too.
Yeah. And, not that I'm no parent or anything like that, but, I just graduated last year. And when I was in elementary, there was times where the teacher would give us notes to give to our parents about a field trip or something like that. And, it would be the night before, that field trip. Oh, I need this and I need that. Well, how come you never told me? Or how come they never said, oh my no? Well, they did. I just forgot to give it to you, So, yes.
Right.
And there is out there different communication than sending home a note, and I think that works out so much better.
Yeah, because and we also have to be mindful of everyone that we serve, and some people prefer phone calls, some people are social media, some people are email, some people, and you also have to depend on what time of the day. So I think the more avenues and mediums you can use to send your message, the better communication you'll have with your community.
And communication is key.
Absolutely, but you're right, it all goes hand in hand.
So here comes the fun part. I would think anyways.
All right.
Any shout outs you would like to give at this point?
I think I'll just give one to my wife, who has been on this journey with me for 20-some years now. And, educationally, I went back and got my master's. She helped support me in doing that and allowing me to do that. And then, to get where I started and where I am now doesn't exist without her. So I guess the only shout out worth giving would truly be to my wife. She's, I'm fortunate to have her.
Yeah. Then the next question is another fun question. Memories with me and you.
Okay, so I want to hear you give one, and I'll give one. I guess there's a couple. The first one, I know I'm already laughing. The first one that comes to mind is that one day, and I don't know if it was no, you weren't intentionally doing it, but you came ripping around the corner and into like my office or into the main office or something. And shortly after that, Amy, Miss Amy comes around the corner, and I could tell the look on her face, and I was like, "You lost Dakota, didn't you?" I did. You're right, I did.
That
was the best.
Yeah, I thought about that one too, but I was like, I couldn't remember if it was in the hallway or if it was in the office. I couldn't remember, but yes, I do remember that one. I would say my biggest memory forever and foremost would be the conversations that we would have on a daily basis.
Yep.
About good things, about bad things, and many people listening to this show today, excuse me, know I've talked to them many times about getting a mentor and how that can help a student's life.
And I think,
Very impactful.
well, I think, and there's many people willing to do it. They just, some are mindful and notice that and reach out, and others aren't. But definitely, if you could see a mentor or someone you look up to, definitely reach out to them. You're right. We used to have during B-Lunch conversations every day. And I think that was just as beneficial for me as it was for you. And I think that's what people, whether it be a teacher, a parent, an adult, a professional, a student, people need to reach out to each other.
Yes, because, as Americans, I believe we should check on each other, especially during COVID-19.
You're right. More than anything, check on each other, their mental health, are they okay? Are they taken care of? Do they have food? Students educationally. So much is going on in a normal year, but more than anything with COVID, definitely make sure that we're taking care of you, like you said, our friends, our neighbors, our family.
Yes. Do you want to do another round of that? Can you think of another one? There's just so many.
Yeah. How about the time that we were exploring the opportunities to sell some old like figurines that I had
yeah.
my mom is the queen of every time I go back giving me more what she called stuff, really good stuff. I thought was junk. Well, finally one day she gave me a box of some of my old toys that were actually had value now. So if you remember, I came over that one night. We were looking online and you were lining up some buyers and everything, and I think that was just fun. It was a good time to be able to get out and spend some time with you.
Yes, it was. It was a good time, and many people, if you're listening and you know me, I'm Mr. Salesman, so I can sell anything, or at least try, or at least mark it down until I can't mark it down no more, and get people to buy it.
Well, and if I remember, it came from one of our lunch conversations that you were telling me about all the stuff you sell and you do, and I was like, well, I got all these old things. If you want to sell them and you can do it, go for it. You were able to.
Yeah. My last thing is just thank you for everything you did for not only me, for the community, for the school, for the staff, the teachers, and everything like that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, no, I mean, obviously, the easy thing is to say likewise. It goes both ways. Everything that hopefully I got out of this, so did you guys. But more than anything, you, Dakota, like I said, you were part of the student council. You were one of the people that introduced me to a lot of things. So it was just nice to be able to start with one of the first people I've ever seen, in the school and in the community. And then, I'm still, you and I are still staying connected and still, keeping up with each other. So I'm very grateful for that, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I appreciate it right back, So.
Yes, sir. And I'll get up there. One of these days, I'm gonna get up there.
Oh yes, we are still gonna stay connected and be in touch, and I encourage any other student out there to do the same when they graduate. It's
Absolutely.
to stay in contact with their favorite teacher or their favorite janitor, whatever it may be.
Oh yeah,
Stay in
we
contact
love it.
with them.
Whether if you work in a school, you love that, and then you love to hear from people when they graduate. Whether it's your favorite teacher, like you said, or if it's Bubba, who impacts so many more lives than people would ever know. You know what I mean? Or whether it's a teacher you had in 5th grade that you still want to reach out to and you still keep up with. Absolutely, find someone and reach out to them when you graduate.
Yes. Well, thank you again, Mr. Monahan, and thank you again for everything, and so now you will become famous.
Well, I hope so. That's why I got on the show. All right, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.